So, who's going to put the first comment in? Says, "Where's Phil?" Right, I know it's not my show. Phil's just clogging up the hamster wheel to keep the electric on. He'll be here. He'll be here very shortly. As there you go, Richie says, "Good evening, Phil Holloway." Yes, he will be here soon. But right now we've got me just for a minute or two, hopefully until he comes on. But this is your Monday Fan Zone show, of course. And we are going to preview the Man United Carabao Cup game. A lot to talk about. Again, we probably will get into a bit more Forest action as well. But mainly talking about Man United in the Cup. Big news, as we all know probably now, that Ten Hag has been sacked. They could have done that after our game, but it is what it is. Hopefully, they don't have a big bounce back win now against us in the Cup, but it is what it is. Get a few comments in before we do start. Evening, Reedy. Evening as well. Mark, be careful. Be a lucky Thrash by 10 hours gone. Yeah, probably. And then Richie says, rubbish game Friday night against Forest. It was, mate. Well, get your views in, get your comments in, and we'll get straight into it after the intro. See you in a bit.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials.
Yes, as the intro says, make sure to follow us on all socials. If I get it right, it is that side. Yeah, make sure to follow us on all socials. Andrew Medher says, I think it's rude to do that. Yes, it is rude to do that. Yeah. Michael Smith says, evening all. Craig says, hi, Phil. Hello, I'm Phil. Phil, you're looking slightly younger tonight. Yes, he is only 21, but yeah, it is Reedy for now. James says Phil's changed a bit. Everyone wants Phil. Everybody wants Phil. Do you know what? Instead of that, I'll get Tom in to get his views. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Oh, it's a Phil loving tonight, isn't it? Jesus.
I know, right? You can't get enough of Phil, can you? Tom, before we do move into the Man United game, there is a few talking points. First of all, a lot of people have been saying to me, and I'm saying this in the office as well, that I said that in the first half we played very Enzo ball. And they were like, no, passing, it's just different. Like he said, passing doesn't mean it's Enzo ball. The way we set up, the way we played, the players played in certain positions, it was Enzo football, wasn't it?
It was Enzo's team, wasn't it?
It basically was Enzo's team, yes.
Enzo set up the whole of last season. Ricardo, the inverted fullback. It was literally like watching Enzo ball, but without the better passes out of the defence, if we're honest about it. That was the thing that probably let it down. But it was our best half of football, in my opinion, of the season. The way we moved the ball, the way we opened up Forest at times, the little 1-2 between Winks and Ricky P for the goals summed it up. That's the way we played last year. You know, players bombing forward, getting onto balls. It was like watching Enzo all last season.
Yeah, it was. And again, Pereira went into that kind of DM role. Fatu actually finally on the wing as well that we've all been asking for. But I will say this, and I said it yesterday on Jamie's show as well, that as much as people keep saying that you got what you asked for and we lost, for me, it doesn't mean you don't play them still. You still give them another chance to prove themselves. Because again, like you said, in that first half, I agree. I think we had probably the best football we played. And I feel like we had more control over a game and performance in that first half than we have all season.
People say you got what you wanted. The fans have been calling for Ricardo. Let's get it right. Cooper had no other option to play Ricardo because Victor Christian was injured, and I think he was injured during the Southampton game. Because if you listen to his comments after the Southampton game, he even said you'll get to see Ricardo soon. So you obviously knew that Victor Christian had injured himself enough that he weren't going to be playing against Forest to say that. Look, it was one of those games. We played better. I still think you're going to play that way. You need to play have a ball playing centre half. we've got one of them. He's not the quickest, but we know you can play the ball out from the back. I like
Mhm.
Faz, I like Kokoli. They're strong at times, but if you're going to play this passing game out from the back, you've got to have a very good centre half who can pass the ball out and also spread it very quickly. We don't have that in Okoli for me. He's a very good centre half, but his passing game isn't up to scratch if you want to start passing out from the back, in my view.
Yeah, and like you said, Vestergaard for me, out of all the players we've got in that back line that we could play, if we did stay in that formation going forward, like Craig says, Vestergaard is the man. And as much as he isn't fast, he's probably the one of the only players, or if the only player who can play that ball from the back and keep the pressure off the defence when he's in the back line. Because again, people can slate him for how slow he is, but when it comes to being a free at the back, you know you can rely on him.
Oh, definitely. He does what it says. Look, just like you say, he's not quick, but if you want to pass out and you want those accurate balls into the middle of the park, he's not scared to play the ball into the park to Winks and Ricardo. He looks for the balls on first. But the switch is the biggest thing. In the formation we played last year, be able to switch that ball between Fatu or Mavadidi and putting it that 60, 70-yard ball very quickly. He can do that, and that's the thing about him. He's also a bit of a leader on the pitch, and that is something we've missed this season, in my view. He isn't scared to tell people off, and he isn't scared to have a go at someone when they're not doing the work they should be doing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we'll move into the Man United game, obviously the main topic of today's show. First of all, the big news that's come out today, Tom. Ten Hag sacked again. Could have done it after the Man U game in midweek, but it is what it is. Now, obviously, Ruud van Nistelrooy has taken the job as interim. I've heard there's many people that have been contacting. Also, the is it the sporting manager? I don't know what his name is, but he looks like he's going there as well. But what's your kind of take on this? Because again, it's kind of changed the look on this game massively now that he's gone.
Yeah, of course it does. Players always seem to bounce after a manager departs and goes, don't they? You lose a manager, next minute they have a big performance from the team. There's someone waving in the background, really.
Do you know what? On that point, I will disappear, and now Phil's back off the hamster wheel. He's back in. Let's go. See you.
Thanks. Hi, Tom. Sorry about that.
It's all
And
right, mate.
thanks really for stepping in. I'm late back from work. Disastrous. What were we on about anyway, Tom? Talk me into it.
We were just talking about, obviously the Man United manager being swapped. It couldn't have come at a worse time for Leicester. Obviously, I text my boss, who's a big Manchester United fan, who's on his holidays, and said, "Couldn't you have waited 2 more weeks just for us to play twice and hopefully get a nice couple of wins?" But we all know that Man U will get a bounce on this. The players and Ruud especially are not going to let Man United now go into this game on the back of a manager departure with a poor performance. You know that Man U now will suddenly have a big performance against Leicester because players have got something to prove now. New managers are going to be watching and thinking if they go in, who are they going to play? So it gets a bit trickier now than if we'd gone over to Man U after they'd lost to West Ham, if the Ten Hag was still in charge, in my view.
Yeah, totally. Mark says here, I've heard Steve Cooper is on the short list, Tom. I don't think that's going to happen, is it? Obviously having a bit of a chuckle there. We need a decent manager, a decent sporting manager. Ten Hag, anybody? I have seen a couple of Leicester fans going, "Oh, get rid of Cooper, get Ten Hag in." I mean, it's just, well, I'd class that as nonsense, Tom. But it's going to be an interesting one on Wednesday. They won't have a new manager in place for them. They might have somebody pretty much lined up, but it's still obviously the game on Wednesday, Tom. It is that debate. I don't know if you've already had it with Reedy, forgive me, but it's that one about what's the most important match this week. Is it Man United in the Cup or is it Ipswich on Saturday? And how's Cooper going to line up with the squad?
Firstly, Ipswich is way, way more important than Manchester United on Tuesday. Secondly, if I just read out, this was the Man United team that he played against Barnsley in the last round. De Bruyne in goal, Delat, Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans, Colley, the young lad, Anthony, Casemiro, Christian Eriksen, Unglanga, Garnacho, and Rashford. Yeah, if that team gets put out against our second team, there's a good chance that Danny Ward will start in goal on Wednesday night, and the team will change. A few young lads, probably Bakary Samari will get game time. Edwards, yeah. What's that Reedy saying? Tom going, yes, I'm going on Wednesday, Reedy. Are you joining me? Are you coming up to Man United on Wednesday night, or are you staying at home and watching on the telly?
Me, I'm
No,
actually
Reedy.
well. Reed is going.
Oh, is
I'm
he?
not going. Although I won't be a million miles away. I'm working in Wrexham of all places, Tom, on Wednesday. So I just won't get back to get in time and all that sort of stuff. So I am going to just about get back from Wrexham in time to watch it on telly. Andy says here, this is what I guess a big question, Tom. I'll ask you if you're watching this live. Put in what your comments are. Is Andy says sack off the cup and concentrate on the league. Is that where you'd go, Tom, with it or not?
Definitely. I'm sorry, the League Cup isn't the priority this year. Finishing 17th and staying in the Premier League and getting yourself another season is the biggest priority for this club this season. Cup runs can help breed confidence. Of course they can. If you can get a win at Man United, it might give us a bit of confidence going into the weekend. But I just think that Ipswich game, with them not playing this week as well, you need as many fresh legs going into that game. And I'd swap all 11 if I could, if you're not going to play anyone at the weekend out of that team. Give all the youngsters a go and really concentrate on the Ipswich game for me, because if we go manual and we get tonked, it won't make any difference if we go to Ipswich and get a win and be further away from them at the end of the day on Saturday afternoon by 5 o'clock. If we get tonked tomorrow night and go to Ipswich with the same kind of team and lose there, then you'd be a bit annoyed after, not playing them 2 days, apart really. Was it 48 hours we'd have recovery time before the next game? It's not a massive turnaround really when you play Wednesday and then Saturday.
Yeah, Scott says here, surely we need to get back to winning ways, regardless of it, if it's Manchester United in the Cup. A win would be, obviously, Scott, would be perfect. Everybody wants that. But as Craig says here, play the second team on Wednesday. I'm going to put a comment in here as well. I just need to find it about Ricardo Pereira. Craig says here, Tom, Ricardo needs to play on Wednesday for match fitness. Before you answer that, well, a lot of fans literally crying for Ricardo Pereira to play for the last 6 or 7 weeks. Personally, wasn't overly impressed by his performance on Friday. I do get it, Tom, that match sharpness takes a little bit of time to get back. What did you think to Ricardo Pereira on Friday? And lead into Craig's question, would you play him on Wednesday?
Firstly, Ricardo Pereira was only playing because Victor Christian was injured. I don't think Cooper changes his lineup. If not, really don't. And I think Cooper knew that at Southampton, as we said earlier. His comments after the game that you'll see Ricardo very soon. He knew that Victor Christian was out of that game. You won't say something like that if you didn't, because he knew it'd take the pressure off him from the fans who've been crying out for him. So, secondly, I thought the first half, as general, was our best performance of the season. We were saying this earlier, me and Reedy were. It was the best performance of the season in the first half. The way we moved the ball, the way we were breaking the lines, the way Links and Ricardo worked well. They're the ones who set the goal up in the beginning. At the end, it comes from the Ricardo and Wink partnership, and then Wink's bursting forward. Again, the right back position is the bit worrisome though, because he got caught out with Hudson-Odoi skipping inside, same as Justin on the left-hand side. Our full-back areas, I'd say, defensively is our weak spot. And again, the right back got left exposed because Abdul was so high up the pitch most of the time. Meant Ricardo was 1-on-1 every time, or 2-on-1 at most of the time. So tough game to come back into when you're taking on someone like Hudson-Odoi, who's had a flying start to the season. But on the other hand, Rustinus, he's not played any minutes. He's played a couple of League Cup games. He ain't match fit for sure. You could tell that. And I think that's probably why he went off when he did. But by that point, the game was gone. So, look, give him a few games. Let's see where he's at after that. Again, it's tricky, though, because of all his injury record. And last year, touch wood, he didn't get injured that many. Would you want to play Ricardo Pereira on Wednesday night and then start him again at Ipswich on Saturday? Personally, no. I think if he's going to start Ipswich Saturday, you've got to rest him really, and you've got plenty of people who can come in there and do the job if you need to, or bring one of the young lads in like we did last year and give them a game.
Yeah, Scott says is Chowdhury fit? What's happening with Alves and McAteer, both struggling with any minutes in there? Ben says let's just hope and pray for 90 decent minutes regardless of the result on Wednesday. That's one thing we don't seem to be at yet. Dorco says Palace gained 3 points on us, which they did. Andy Medhurst says, good first half, but why such a bad second half? Again, Tom, what was your take on that? Because the first half, as you said, we did look decent against Forest. What changed second half? Because it was the same team came out.
It's the same as we've done all season, Phil, and the same question that Owen asked him, Mr. Cooper himself, and he didn't seem to have an answer for. We've played every game this season, and not one game have we played 90 minutes of football from the start to the finish. We've played half a game, or sometimes a little bit more. So most of the time, it's come in the second half. Bournemouth at home, we played the first half very well. Second half, we were awful, and we defended for our lives. And very similar against Forest. Look, let's not get wrong. Forest get a lucky goal in the first half because of poor defending, and it comes to Yates, and it could have gone anywhere. Could have ballooned that over the stand. No, he bobbles it into the bottom corner. Some ways, Mads probably could have done better with that one.
And then you finish, Tom.
He's bobbled it, mate. He's not even hit a clean strike on the ball. Come on, it's Ryan Yates. He ain't that good. Then the second half.
I'll tell you what was pretty disastrous before that, Tom, was Buenatti.
Oh, mate,
again,
yeah.
You can see why Brighton have loaned him out, because there's good bits and there is some bad bits. And that on Friday was naivety for a 19-year-old to try and dribble the ball out of his penalty box into a wall of Forest players. You
could say both of them clearances were awful. Benotti is the first one who makes the crucial mistake, in my view. You just clear it. But then
he's trying to skill out of the penalty box.
JJ's clearance is even worse, in my view.
Well, he shanked it, didn't he? And it was
for someone of that experience, he's not even gone for foot. It's hit his leg and gone away. He's not even cleared it properly. Both of them poor. But say half time, you're in the game, mate. And for me, I thought we were really doing well. We were struggling with the defensive side of it. For me, I think Alanga and Hudson-Odoi were having the better games in our third, and I think defensively we're a little bit all over the place, playing the formation we'd gone into. As we said, it's the Enzo formation. It was the Enzo way we were playing last year with Ricardo as a fullback. The second half, I don't think anybody came out of the dressing room. Not one player came out the second half and switched on and ready to go. And again, a loose ball to the right hand side from Winks to Fatu, and they play one simple ball. Again, our two centre halves, no challenge. One ball over the top. Again, Faz and Ockley, they've got to do better than that. That's that pub league. That's Sunday morning. Don't let the ball bounce. We all know that. Anyone who's played football at decent standard, you don't let the ball bounce towards the penalty area. We get caught out. But there was no. After the second goal went in, I didn't see a reaction. It was all like, oh, what's happened here then? And then back to like, well, we ain't going to play now. It didn't seem like anyone bothered the second half. Forest were all over that game to win it. Leicester second half, nah. We're at the races, miles off the pace. Problem is 3-1 game, get down. There was no way of turning the clock backs on that and getting anything back into the game, because we didn't look like scoring after that. We didn't look like we were going to get forward, and we didn't look anything threatening. And again, it's the biggest question Cooper's got now: 9 league games and not one 90-minute performance. That's your worrying part, and giving a team, for me, another goal start. You can't keep doing that every week, because you're not going to come back every week, and you're not going to win enough football matches to stay in the league by doing that.
I mean, Tom, that third goal from that Forest scored, it probably didn't help that by then I'd probably had 4 pints of beer. But I literally stood up in the family stand and was just, to anybody who would listen, which wasn't many, but anybody would listen, I was saying that is beyond, that's pub Sunday morning football, what Wout Faz just did. How that guy can play for a Belgium international side or be anywhere near that. Like you said, I almost forgive him the fact that he lets it bounce, which is almost rule number 1, don't let it bounce. But it bounces, and then he could do any number of things. A skillful Premier League defender would be able to try and chest it and move it around. I don't expect that from him necessarily, but he could have headed it in almost any other direction than where he put it, or head it back with some strength. That, to me, I'm not being funny, I hate to say it, Tom, that was pathetic, that bit of defending. And I literally stood up and was like, we might as well all go home if that's how he's going to defend. And then he, if you watch it back on the replays, Tom, which I have done since, he then looks round to try and blame other people. I don't know if you've noticed that. And I'm like, take some responsibility, Wout Faz. That was really poor. Own it. But he doesn't want to even own it.
Well, the biggest thing for me, though, he does that every game, mate. If he's not getting his own way and things aren't going right, Wout Faz chucks his toys out the pram very quickly at other players. It's not because, not trying to help anyone, or he's not having to go at someone for making a mistake. It's how can he get out of being the one who's been the scapegoat. Like I say, for me, the ball, as soon as that ball bounces, head it away. Head it wherever you want to head it, but you can't head it up. Because as soon as you head it up and you lose the sight of the ball when it's gone over your head, you're done. The worst thing he did was what he did, trying to head it up and sort of try to head it back. I think he was trying to do. He just need to put it out. Like I said, from my point of view, put it out for a corner. Don't care where you put it out. Put it onto the 6-yard box. Wherever you put it, Chris Wood is not getting onto the ball straight away. The one place you did put it up in the air was where he wanted it, so he could then head it over the goalkeeper. There was chat. Some people saying, was Mads to blame? He didn't come or go. Mads had nowhere to go. Mads was hit and miss whatever he did. He could come out.
He put some Manson in no man's land. Yeah,
Mads could come out and clear everyone, but if he misses it, then we all know what's going to happen nowadays. If he misses it in Clive Wood, you're going to give a penalty. For me, Mads has done the right thing to stay on his 6-yard line. But the problem is, as soon as it bounces, he then takes a step thinking, do I come, don't I come? And like I say, I'm not going to say Mads because in the first half, his save, that's kept us in the game in the first half. That's a top draw save. So, look, a lot to learn for me for Wout Faz. He still doesn't make me feel comfortable. We saw Southampton away with his dive and headed towards his own goal. Mads saved him again. You need a leader in the back of the park for me. And you've got two players. You got Vestergaard and you got Cody. One of them two needs to be coming in with Ockley. I like Ockley. I think he can be good, but he needs someone to come in and do something with him if you're going to stick with Ockley. Because at the moment,
he's not blameless either, Tom.
No, of course he's not. No, of course.
In there where again, I can't. I'm not quite sure of him. I'm like 65% think he's a real good player, and then I see 20-30% of the stuff he does and goes, got a lot to learn, And again, we look. I don't want to look back at Wes Morgan and Robert Huth but their biggest thing. And here's something Dorco puts here and says, we don't want to encourage a skillful player like Buonatti to just boot the ball at the pitch, do we? And I'm always going to say, Dorco, yes, sometimes that's exactly what you have to do is put your foot through it and get rid of it. Because again, honestly, Dorco, go and watch him. It's schoolboy stuff where you should not be almost the last man in your own penalty box and trying to skill it past two Forest players. It was in my books, Tom, and that's where I slightly question Cooper. You've not heard me question Cooper, but I'm going to question him, Tom, because I wonder who's telling him to do that.
Well, if in doubt, kick it out, isn't it, really? So we all grew up with that one.
If you're when you're in a relegation battle.
Just get rid of it. You're not going to be able to skin every single player. It's just, for me, that ball there, go up the line, hope Vard's made a run and just put it up the line. Worst case scenario is for Forest to get the ball back, but at least you can get set up again. You get your defensive structure. The problem is, as soon as he did it, we were all over the place in our own penalty area, and we had nothing to really do about it. I've just reading it is Vestergaard the answer. It depends what we're going to do, Ian. That's my view on that. If you're going to keep playing out in the back like we did in the first half, then yes, because you need a ball playing centre half. Yes, he hasn't got the pace. I accept that. But if you're going to play out from the back and play the balls into Winks and Ricardo and the 70-yard passes and switch the play, we know that Vestergaard can do that quite easily. The problem is, yes, he does have a lap pace and everything, but he is a leader. He is someone who's a focal point on the team. We saw that last year. He takes no nonsense from people around him. They're not doing what they need to do. He tells them. I think Matt Pipes said, look, Vardy is too kind. He's too nice. People trying to play balls and they weren't getting it right. He was clapping them. Where in theory, I think what Pipes says, he should be screaming and going, no, that's not good enough. Sort it out. Come on. Again,
who's the captain at the moment, Tom, out there?
There's no captain. There's no leader on that park.
Captain?
There's no leader on the park, mate. That's the saddest thing at the moment. You need a leader. You need someone with a bit of bite, a bit of grunt.
Well, we haven't got one.
But that's the problem. You probably got Cody is probably the closest thing to me as a leader on the pitch and off the pitch. He's the one who really, by the sounds of it, leads the dressing room, and he's not on the pitch at the moment. Okay, people say, look, what happened at Palace? But again, rustiness, you're chucking him on with 5 minutes to go and he hasn't played a game. It's one of those, for me, I would go to a back three. Someone put it there a minute ago. I would go to a back three. I'd play Cody, I'd play Vestergaard, I'd play Ockley, and I'd drop Faz for the next game. If you're going to play Ricardo as that inverted fullback, or you can play Cody, Ockley, and Justin. As we saw last year, Justin sat in as a 3 on the left-hand side of defence. So there's plenty of options to do something with. But for me, if you're going to play a back three and have passing out, Vestergaard is the main man for doing that way of playing. We saw it.
So, Tom, as I said just a few moments ago, I've generally been, quite an advocate of Cooper. Give him time, because I do think he needs to give him time. But even I've got some questions for you about Cooper. One is the Buonatti thing and the defence and some of that. Why did he bring... I mean, I'm not a fan of Soumare, but why did he bring Soumare on if you're trying to chase the game? That crikey, I've got to call that one out, Tom. I don't understand that.
I didn't get any substitutes he made, if I'm honest with you, mate. I didn't think, I understand Fad Abdul wasn't have a great game, but I mean, the game was gone. And so let's bring on Bobby Decker-Reid, bring on Ayew. None of the substitutions made any sense in my head. And say the one that you just said, Samari, was the worst one of the lot.
Surely Edouard has to come in.
Edouard's should be coming on. And if you're going to take off Ndidi, then you're bringing Skip on. Someone who's got a bit of energy about them, can get the ball, drive forward, can pass as well. Boubacar Samari can't pass the ball for Toffee, in my view. I like him, he's physical, but that's it. There's nothing else there for me. I've seen enough. I really thought when he signed, and after a few games I've seen him, I thought...
Who? Sumari?
Yeah, there was a sort of player around there that could do something.
Reedy's in fantasy land with this comment.
Prime. Yeah, but that's Reedy. He lives in fantasy.
Richie, I agree with.
This last 18 months, even this relegation season when Dean Smith brought him into this team quite often, you were questioning what he was offering because you didn't really drink. But yeah, I didn't get it. I think Skip should have come on. I think Skip will play this weekend, and Winks will probably get dropped. Which I think's very unlucky because I think Winks was probably the man of the match from us. If I was out about from his first half performance alone, he was driving everyone forward. Second half, no one was the man of the match. I think everyone just no one came out the tunnel the second half, and I think you questioning Cooper. I've been questioning Cooper the last 3 or 4 weeks now because I can't see where the 90-minute performance are coming from. Forget styles of play to get that because we haven't seen any of that anyway. But as a manager, you still got to be getting a 90-minute performance out of them after 9 games. That's the more worrying thing about it. If I was going to question Cooper, why they're not playing for 90 minutes? Why 5?
Here's a really interesting one by G. Cullis on YouTube. Thank you for your comment. Everyone is giving the players a pass. They're the ones that are playing. He picked the team that you all wanted. Just admit it. You're going to blame him for everything unless you win, of course. Now, listen, I agree with virtually everything you've just said there because as soon as I saw the team sheet on Friday, I was like going, well, there you go. He's, for one reason or another, he's put Ricardo Pereira and he's put Fatou in, which is what all the fans were wanting. So that starting 11 was probably a lot of fans like that's what it should look like, give or take. And that second half, the first half was decent on. The second half fell to bits. I think the players have got to hold their heads up and got to be looked at for this.
Oh, look.
I don't think you can put it all at Cooper's door. He's like, you've had a decent first half. Give me a decent second half.
I'm not having the whole thing where the fans got what they want. Fans didn't get what they want. Cooper had no choice to play Ricardo, in my view.
Yeah, no, you might be right. You might be right on that. But Fatwood was demanded to play.
Of course he was.
And he was average.
He let the manager down. He let the fans down. Again, I don't get why he didn't go running banana. There was loads of chances where he was one-on-one with his man, and he just stopped. And you're going, yeah, why are you not running at him? Like, what? So who's told you the instruction to stop and move the ball backwards and go round? Like, run at your man, do what you did against Southampton. Because the biggest frustration for me was you got him booked in the first half. So why are you not having a go at him? He's already on a yellow card because of what you did against him. Have a go at him again. Get him in, really have a go at him. We didn't. We just stopped playing. Every time Abdul got the ball, it was come back, cut inside, have a shot. He didn't seem to want to go down the outside enough. Like Southampton couldn't deal with him going down the outside and cutting in or coming back. He wasn't changing up. It was very, very obvious what he's going to do. Like I say, one of those. I was not blaming Cooper on Friday night for the way we lost that game.
No,
I will question his substitutions in the game. Of course, I will. But I'm not going to sit here and blame Cooper for losing the game of football. But I will start to question that 8-9 games in now that we're still struggling to put a 90% performances. Why? You can't just blame the players for that. There has got to be something the players aren't getting off what Cooper's trying to do. And there's got to be mixed messages coming across because players don't play for 45 minutes and just don't come out of the tunnel every single game. Something doesn't sit right there with me on that one.
Yeah, I agree. Callum says here, I don't think Forest was that good. We was just shocking in the second half. I think we weren't great in the second half at all, Tom. But I think you have to give some credit to Forest. And I had a bit of a debate with some people after the game. And again, my reality is that there ain't many Leicester players that will get in that Forest side. I think Forest side, starting 11 and their squad is just better than Leicester's. They've had 2 or 3 seasons. The team they've got now is basically got virtually, I think it's got one player from the season they actually got promoted. That they've got far better team than us. Tom, I even had a debate with somebody. Would you rather have Jamie Vardy as he is today? I'm not talking about historic Jamie Vardy today, or Chris Wood. And I said, I'd probably prefer Chris Wood for this season because I think he's got more about him generally on the whole park. I think Forest, it's very easy for Leicester fans to say Forest are crap. They were decent.
Forest,
They could have had 5.
I did not come into the game expecting an easy game against Forest. This is a club now who are in their third or fourth year in the Premier League. Third year in the Premier League. They are now starting to get themselves an established team in the Premier League. You got it. This is what I keep saying about these first 2 years. If we can stay up this year and stay up next year, you then can build. You can't just go stay up 1 year and think, right, we're going to break back into the top 7 again. It's not going to happen. You have to build. Forest have built through the team. They changed the whole team basically when they came up. 22, 24 players, didn't they, coming out of that whole team that got promoted. The second season, they've changed a few players to stay in the league. This year, they've got a manager with Premier League experience. He might not have worked out at Tottenham and other teams he's gone to, but he knows how to manage in the Premier League. He did it at Wolves, and he's brought wisely. He's brought Premier League players with Premier League experience. Something that I bang out all the time. Go and sign someone who knows the league. It makes life a lot easier when you try and settle them in than bringing players in from abroad. We've done it with Buonanotte. He had 36 aim at Brighton. He knows the league. But look at him versus El Canoes. There's a massive difference. They don't know the division. Forest went and brought players who knew what they were doing. They brought Langer on from Manchester United. We all know how quick and devastating he is. That's the way Nuno plays. Quick wingers. They brought Hudson and Doy, a player that's been floated around at Chelsea. He's been out on loan to Dortmund. Another player that knows how to play in this division. They've got a midfielder, a boss, a general, what we haven't got in Yates. As much as I hate the little rat, but he's one of those players. He's a Robbie Savage. If he plays here, you'll love him because he's a workhorse. He's a grunt. Morgan Gibbs-White, another player who's played plenty of Premier League games and got a load of quality about him. They are all round probably a better team than Leicester. Let's don't deny that. But what you have to do is be able to match them and have a go, and be able to be physical, be able to go mentally into game, going, we're not going to lose to these boys. These are our rivals. But the way we rolled over and let them tickle our belly in the second half, that's the biggest upset for me and the biggest disappointment. The way we just rolled over and let it happen in the second half with no fight. And you ask any Leicester fan, you play with fight, hunger, determination, fans will back you and get behind you in the ground. When you do what you did on Friday night, you play like that, fans will boo you off the park like they did at the end of the game and will get annoyed by it because they don't see a team that cares. And I think that's the biggest thing. If they care and show that, you'll get the backing. At the moment, like I say, I still think we've got enough to stay up, but I need to see something changing quickly on these performances.
Tom, we've nearly finished. Man United, quick score prediction, and then just to reiterate, obviously Ipswich on Saturday is just massive.
Let's have a Desmond on Wednesday night, a couple of goals each, and then win on penalty. Danny Wall can be a cup hero again. We'll take that one, I've done you there, mate.
Well, you never know. It could happen. And then Saturday.
And Saturday, I truly believe we will go and beat Ipswich away. I think the players will have a massive point to go and pick up something after what happened at Forest. And look, Ipswich are conceding goals for fun. We're conceding goals for fun. It could be a 4-3. It could be a 5-3. We don't know. I'd say 3-2 to Leicester on Saturday. It's going to be an open game. They've got a lot of attacking players. We've got a lot of attacking players. Both teams are absolutely shocking in defence. So, as I said before, and I've said enough time this season, our best form of defence is to attack, and that's it. Yeah,
brilliant, Tom. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. 2-0 loss on Wednesday, says Craig, and a 2-1 win on Saturday. He says, let's hope so. That is by far the bigger game this week. Thanks to Tom for joining us. Thanks for Reedy for stepping in because I was late back from work. And thanks as ever for all your views and comments. Don't forget, we'll be going live throughout the week before, during and after the Man United Cup game and, of course, the Ipswich game on Saturday. If you've not watched it yet, go and watch Tom's review of all the team players from Friday. Tom, great review again, getting lots of views on YouTube.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
So make sure you go and check out Tom's review. And, of course, there's still the aftermath from yesterday. Go and watch that show. Yes, Tom?
And Saturday, I will be doing a watch along for the Ipswich game. I'm not there, Daddy Daycare, but I will do a watch along. So come over.
You'll be doing a watch along with two kids as well at the same time.
One's at a party, so look, it's only Henry, so he'll probably be playing FIFA or something. But yeah, come over. We'll be doing a watch along, so I'll be doing one, so probably 2:45 live. So come and join us then.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Tom. Right, everybody, thanks for all your views. Thanks for all your comments, as ever. We'll see you next time.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials.